Welcome to Atlanta for the second race of the NAPA Sim Cup Series season. Or after an exciting Daytona 500, these drivers now head to the first intermediate of the season to get a true test, a true feeling of who is going to be the best of the best this season. And starting off, we have FXN on the pole. He is a driver that came alive last season as a rookie and has just secured his first ever pole. He's going to be one to watch. But with over 100 laps, 102 laps of racing today, and 42 cars, I'm joined here with Mac. Mac, we head to Atlanta, which we've talked about all week and is famously known for their not being that much grip on this racetrack. Drivers washing up the track, drivers getting into each other. But this is the Cup Series, the best of the best. How do we think this race is going to play out?
Well, this is very much a mixed bag in the Cup Series. We've seen that this can be a good race when the conditions are right, like in Xfinity. But but these guys have been here for a few years. But yeah, the grip is still a big issue. And if it's too much of an issue, much like we saw at Atlanta 2 last season, and even the truck race to a pretty big extent, we could see an absolute demo derby and basically a last man standing type scenario.
Yeah, we see a lot of situations where drivers tend to get a little bit too confident, get into turn one, turn three a little bit too deep, make contact with the guy, and with the banking, a wrecked car always tends to slide down the racetrack, and it could be a lot of trouble. The restarts are always crazy as well. Three, and we even see four wide in the trioval. Anything can happen. But again, these are the Cup guys. These are the guys that have been doing this the longest and know the situation. But with this new generation of car, none of these drivers have seen how the racing is going to feel with so many other cars on track. So it is going to be a true test here for all these racers today. And they got over 100 laps to figure out their handling and figure out if they're going to have some speed to win this race. Because with SM already in the playoffs, we're gonna get some winners early on, and the playoff field is gonna start shrinking and shrinking. So you want to get a win as early as possible and secure your spot. And for guys like Ty and Matthew, who are starting in the top five, who may have a bit lower odds to maybe get a win this season, a good qualifying effort here today. Let's see if they have the speed to stay up here and contend with the best of the best. But without further ado, we are ready to get into the starting grid for today's race. In row one, we have FXN first career pole for the second year driver. He is next to Typical. In row two, Ty, the newest addition to Shermensky West, next to Matthew, who's always been good at Atlanta. Row three, a driver that's just good practically everywhere. Dan, next to Vixterity. Row four, how about Stu in the 93 with a great qualifying effort next to Cam? And in row five, Slash and JJO.
Let's go to row 6. We have Wayside and Bot. Then in row 7, a good effort for Meme, having a solid start to his season, and Internet. Then in row 8, we have Jacob and New, who had won here last season Xfinity. Then in row 9, we have our actual Xfinity winner from yesterday, Dylan, and Discord Bot. Then rounding out our top 20 is going to be Mike with a strong effort for that Target Racing team, and I am an anti-odor.
All right, let's go back to row 11 where we have two pairs of drivers that qualified a bit deeper in the field. Mythical in that Under Armour machine next to Mac. And row 12, there's our Daytona 500 winner, safe throughout the entire season with his win. That's SM next to Chaseman, who also stood out at Daytona. Row 13, a bit deeper in the field, Commander next to Peyton. Row 14, pair of rookies and two phenoms, Chase next to Riley Davis Jr. And back to row 15, Santa and Isolated.
Row 16, we have Anna Kate and Kermit. Then in row 17, we have Montana and Gino Cap. Running on row 18, do we have Avery, solid top 35 qualifying appearance, and Doug. Then row 19, we have Sub NASCAR and Jack. Row 20 is Junior and Cole. And then rounding out our field is going to be Sean and Garrett, who went to the rear for failing inspection.
Yeah, Garrett had a lot of troubles in practice and didn't even make a qualifying lap. They had to do an engine change, forced to go to the rear, and also failed inspection. There is a lot going on with that team prior to the start of this race, but Garrett is someone that can make their way through the field It'll be fun to watch him do that today. He has over 100 laps to get himself into the top 10 and have a chance to contend for this thing. But now that we've gone through the starting grid, we're all ready to get this race underway. Let's get the engines fired.
All right, drivers, buckle up and start your engines!
The real part of the season, the real test begins now here with our first intermediate at Atlanta. A track that is grueling on the drivers and the tires, but it is a pure skill racetrack, multi-groove, a lot of action. That's why drivers love coming here. And after Daytona, this is the first true test here today, an intermediate that takes a lot of skill. As off turn 4, FXN, typical, will lead this field to green. We're ready to go at Atlanta. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at Atlanta. FXN gets a big
flying
jump.
start.
Yeah, big jump there. He's going to clear typical before turn 1, and that'll allow Ty to not actually clear, but that'll give Dan prime opportunity to make it 3 wide if he wishes, but he's not going to do it just yet. Going to stay in line here as first time up to speed into turn 3 for the first time, and we got cars all over the place here, but they're all gonna get out of it. Bad start for Dexterity. He's gonna fade back after his top 10 qualifying effort. Ty has a run, can't get under FXN though, or will he? Bad corner from FXN. Ty to the lead.
Ty to the lead. And Ty has not led a race in quite a while, so we might see him log his first lap lead in a long while. But oh man, just an absolutely horrific 3 and 4. But not a big enough run from Typical. He will hold the lead and he will lead that lap.
It's a mess in the back. These first few laps are going to be insane. As yep, Typical's not going to take the lead back, but that is a lap lead for Ty. Great for him. It's been a while. I mean, back in the back. We're seeing it right here. That's some winners. Those are Cup winners struggling. Mac had a lot of trouble. A lot of guys struggling early here. Matthew up into second early on here. He's good at this racetrack. Not surprised here as might actually have a chance here to catch Typical for the lead. Ty's drifted back to third. FXN is hanging on here in the early going here. That's Wayside already up to fourth.
Ty in third. Matthew second, but here's Matthew to the inside of Typical.
Whoa!
Matthew always good in here. Oh, man.
Entered the corner.
Matthew just almost probably killed everybody battling for the lead there, but they keep it straight, and Typical still up front.
I think that was a situation there where Typical gave Matthew the lane, but Matthew just drove it in way too deep and had to get off the gas. Oh, big run here from Matthew. Typical must have had a bad corner, but Wayside's going to have a better run. How about the Alberto driver trying to fight for the lead early? Oh, he checked up that time. He did not want to make the same mistake, but that actually is going to cost him. Here comes Wayside up to second here in the early going as these drivers, just like I said in the pre-race, struggling for grip. The bottom lane is the way to go in the early going. Seems like there's just no grip in that top lane. So these drivers are going to have to make that bottom lane work. You see Cam trying to make it working. He did all right, but look at Commander. Just couldn't make that top lane work at all. From 25th, though, already up into the top 10. Good start for him.
Typical out front, but now he has that 92 machine hounding him as we go to the flyby of the field. Oh, we're wrecking in the back.
Avery's in trouble. Cole is involved. Caution's out for the first time. And I'm an Antioder who I was about to talk about was running way in the back. Looks like snuck by that. First caution is out already on lap 7. And it's for a duo of drivers making their first Cup start this season. Caution's out for the first time here. As we scan through the field. Santa's running in 11th. Great start for him so far as Typical is messing around with the pace car here. Early caution here in Atlanta for 2 drivers in the back. Let's take a look at what happened.
See here, setting up in the turn 1, Avery just sends it in way too deep, gets into the 09 of Cole, and they both hard into the wall. I think both cars could continue, but we will see.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I'm an anteater who was saying he's struggling with the handling, was happy that caution happened, but it happened right in front of him. But he is okay. 2 drivers making their first start, bring out the first caution. We'll be back for the restart. Coming back to the restart here. Single file restarts is what NAPA sim officials have elected for, probably for safety due to the wreck happening early in this race. Our outside pole sitter will lead the field of green with Wayside, and how about Matthew in third? They'll lead him back to the screen here. Off turn 4 into the tri-oval, into the restart zone. We're back underway. It'll be lap 12 when they hit the line, as Mythical's already in the wall, trying his damnedest to get to the outside of Matthew. He will, but that's not a good decision. We've seen early on in this race, you want to be on that bottom lane. Bottom is the most gripped up. There's a lot of grip on that bottom lane. It's all rubbered up. Mythical's going to lose a few
Yeah, you saw a
spots
tight
here.
Mythical got in that top and that middle lane in 1 and 2.
Dan falling back a little bit here, and welcome to the top 10 Santa up here doing well early. I mean, these restarts allow for a lot of opportunities for drivers like him to make moves, and caution came out so early in the race, we weren't really fully out of that first restart yet. These drivers were still trying to find their handling, and looks like Santa's might got something under that car, making some moves. Just got by Matthew and Mythical. He's up into the 8th position right now, making moves. He might be at 7th soon. Santa wasn't even a factor at Daytona, was out of the draft the entire race. But here at Atlanta today, he's up into the 7th position early, but battle for the lead will now go to Wayside. Wayside takes the lead here at Atlanta, with Bot now going to move up to 2nd.
Yeah, Wayside got a couple wins last year. Breakout season for him. And what was his, well, not his, yeah, it was his rookie season last season. Got a couple wins in short tracks for the most part. Looking to prove that he's really as bad fast as he showed in his rookie season. He definitely had some doubt coming into this year, and looking to prove that wrong.
I'm 99% sure his rookie season was season 4, but either way, still only a 3rd-year driver. Still kind of learning the ropes of this thing. We're going to go to new tracks this season. Of course, this is a new generation car. All these drivers are unfamiliar with how the racing's going to go this season, but Wayside right now seems to have an early handle of it out front with Typical in 2nd, Bot running well in 3rd, and a lot of interesting drivers going up here. Here's our Xfinity winner, Dylan, making moves, and Santa still hanging on in the top 10, but from what we've seen so far today, that high side will not be in his favor. He'll drift back now a little bit here, and from last place up into the top 15, here comes Garrett. Santa tried to put a big block on him, thought better of it. Garrett's moving forward, and only 16 laps in. Here he comes, and how about his teammate, the rookie Riley Davis Jr., making moves up to the front? It's a mess back here.
Yeah, Garrett. I mean, one thing Garrett has especially been known at and very good is that he can make up lots of positions in short time. As a matter of fact, that is how Garrett made to the Final Four last season. He went from 18th to 9th, I believe it was, in about 4 laps, in about 4 to 5 laps at Memphis, one of the toughest places to do that at. And that is how he made the Final Four. And obviously, obviously maybe a greater height could be last to now top 10. But as we go through this race, if he's still that fast, maybe last to first could be in the cards.
Wayside's been able to gap this field over a second ahead at the last lap, and he's still standing true to that. Dylan up to 3rd, making his way forward. And then let's try the flyby again. Here's the rest of the field here as we go by. I saw these two. There's Cole, and Avery's... Oh, he fell back behind now, but I'm hearing that both drivers had made minimum speed, so good job for them. But that'll just make the racing even more chaotic, because we'll have some somewhat slower cars in the way here if we could get a long enough green flag run. This track is also notorious for a lot of cautions. So we'll see how this goes here. Here's our Daytona 500 winner SM as FXN now begins to fade. Our pole sitter, still the high side, the middle lane, whatever, has not yet came in. And we're seeing drivers that fall to that middle lane, most of them just concede because they know they're not going to keep the spot. And that's what Discord Bot probably just did right there. He's going to concede, and he's got enough racetrack behind him to where he can get back in line and still be competitive. And there's some confidence in this veteran here, because after winning the Xfinity race, We have not seen Dylan run this high up in a while. Looking to get second, but Typical was able to hold him off for now. But Wayside still out front here at Atlanta so far.
Yeah, I think these two Dodgers may be gaining a little bit on the Ford of Slash, just a little bit. It's under a second now, but we'll see if that trend continues throughout these next few laps.
Kerman up into the top 10. Kind of our forgotten champion. Both him and Mythical. People tend to forget because Mythical, of course, suffered an injury and went down in the lower series. These two are both champions, him and Kerman, and there's a reason why they're in the top 10. And they're racing for it now. Oh, caution is out here. Let's scan around here. Interesting. Okay, that's going to solve our question. Caution's out. Doug is in it. We don't have a good camera angle here. It looks like Peyton's in it. There it is, and Stu is involved. Caution's out for the second time. And we just lost three veterans, it looks like. Only on lap 22. Take a look at what happened.
We enter turn 1 here. Anna Kate. I think Doug actually maybe just came down too much into that 50 and just goes straight down into traffic. Stu hits him. These guys just barely see through the middle, but Peyton doesn't. Sean almost gets collected into it, and these three cars are definitely done.
Yeah, hard hit for 3 of our veterans that have been here for a long time. There were some drivers that had some near misses. Let's see if we can find an onboard. Onboard with Meme. Oh, did get a piece of it, but very minimal damage. Got by pretty well. Maybe your left front might be down. Other than that, it's pretty okay. Let's go back to the restart. Coming back to the restart here. Wayside still our leader here as we come back to the green. Off turn 4 here. Pace car will bring it in. Typical and Dylan right behind him with Commander, Discord by. How about the rookie Riley Jr. in the 6th spot? Still a single foul restart here. Won't be surprised if it stays like that. Let's see if we can get a good green flag running. We're back underway here at Atlanta. And wasting no time is, that's like half the field. A bunch of guys jumping to the bottom. Typical back to the lead.
Yeah, I think Wayside and Dylan didn't have good starts at all. Here's Riley Davis Jr. now, shooting it to the inside of Wayside. Riley Davis Jr. is down for the lead now. Discord bot to the inside of Typical as we fly by through the field. Discord bot with the lead, and here's the rookie Riley Davis Jr. the second, but now Slash to his inside to make it 3 wide entering turn 1.
This rookie had a good run at Daytona. Had a save in the race as well. Ripping top for a second, but think he was ripping it a little bit too much. Had to get off the gas. As he's looking good here. Pretty sure he finished 11th at Daytona. He's looking solid here in the early going here. Look at Dan fly through. Yeah, that middle and top lane just can't get it going, and we are bunched up behind the leader Discord bot. I don't like this after what we've seen early in this race here, but we have seen it's not that hard to pass, but still, the most headway is made on the restarts, and look at what has happened to Typical and Dylan. They have just fallen back, same as Riley Davis Jr. The bottom is the only part of the track that looks to actually have good speed. Typical is getting swarmed. Back to the field, contact with Mike. A lot of trouble for Typical. He's going to have a long way back forward here, it looks like. He's going to fall all the way back. Whoa, big checker from the 14. That's going to slow down the 36 of internet. And this is all outside the top 15, the almost top 20 as well. Here's Garrett again. Still running up here well after going to the rear of the field. He is moving forward, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the lead before this is over. Maybe he might need another caution or so to bail him out.
They maybe just went 4 wide almost.
They were, I think. Oh my goodness, what a mess this is here. Here comes Junior flying through Santa. There are cars everywhere in this back, and Typical, he just has nowhere to go. He's trying his hardest to make that middle and top line work. You see him drive it in. Looks like he's finally going to get something to go his way around JJO. But now there's some slower cars up ahead with Chase and Internet. Now is when he'll jump to the bottom and just hope to have something go his way here, and it looks like he'll finally find a way out here and try and move his way forward. But back to the front, it is a Bot racing 1-2, and here comes Bot chasing down Discord Bot here in the 55.
Yeah, Bot Motorsports is one of the two teams that are still multi-manufacturer, and so it looks a little weird to say they're running 1-2, and you got one running a Toyota, one running a Ford, but they are on the same team. They are a multi-manufacturer team. The only one is Alberto Motorsports. But 1-2 right now, and Discord Bot has been one of the winningest drivers since Season 3. He has racked up many cup wins, especially pretty much anywhere you could think of. Road courses, speedways, and super speedways especially. And he is definitely going to be a threat all season long on practically every track you could think of.
Gotten into a little bit of a rhythm here, but last time we got in a rhythm, the wreck started from just two cars, just simply side by side, so this pace of the race is going to be weird. I think we're definitely going to see more cautions, and it seems like the story is this, right? Because from what I've seen so far, there is so much grip on that bottom lane that of course you're going to enter in fast because there's so much grip. But the drivers in the middle lane just can't carry the speed because there's less grip. And then the driver on the bottom sends it in, the driver in the middle can send it in, and that's what leads to the accidents. And this has been the case at Atlanta since NAPA Sim started. This track is notorious for a lot of cautions and a lot of big wrecks, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case later on, and I don't think we've seen the worst yet, because these drivers are just going to get more aggressive, and more lead changes as well, as now Bot to the lead over Discord Bot, Wayside hanging in third, don't forget about Dan and Mythical's moving forward as well, and then back here, it's a battle, 8th on back, it is a mess. FXN's finally back in the picture. We haven't seen him since the first lap of the race. He's now starting to move forward again. Or was, but can't really move forward now on that. Oh! On that middle lane, Riley Davis Jr. was not clear. Chasing Man gave him some room, and now jumps to the bottom. And Typical's moving his way back forward, getting back into that top 20. Kermit's now going to go under him 3 wide. Cam's going to go to the middle of Riley Davis Jr. Oh, silent into the wall there, but that will happen. That wall jets out at you. Big checkup from the 27. And through goes Kermit and the others with Riley Davis Jr. And that is just going to screw over the 15 of Cam. That's going to screw over. Look at the runs. That just screwed over multiple drivers. Mainly our pole setter FXN. And here comes Mike moving forward. How about him in that Target Racing car?
Yeah, I think that middle line is just terrible. It seems like, because we saw the 3 wide there, Riley Davis Jr. even managed to get a run on the outside of that middle line. I think especially 1 and 2, it seems that the middle line is very, very bad this race. A bit different to what we saw in Trucks and Xfinity, as Discord Bot gets backed by his teammate Bot, and looks like Dan might get second out of that exchange. He will not this time, but he'll definitely get into turn 1 here, as he will get the run to get around him, and Mythical will follow to take 3rd place.
And he's going to go straight for 2nd as well, I have a feeling. And I lost a little bit of momentum there. Oh, Avery's off the pace here, damaging that 83 car. He's had that since the start. Oh, okay, you gotta stay on that apron. Carrying too much speed, as it looks like Avery is going to bring it down pit road. Not sure if there's something terminal going on. He did make minimum speed, so there must be something terminal going on in that car. Let's see what happens here. As he brings it down pit road, will he pull it into the garage? No, they're getting some tires on that car. Something's going on with that car. We'll try and get an update soon. Back to the front, where now Mythical is in 2nd. Here comes Bot again. Dan slipped back to 4th. While Dan has been up here, he hasn't led many laps. It's mainly been the Bot Racing drivers in control so far, but we're not even halfway through. Oh, Discord Bot, bad corner. I don't think he tried to run that lane. I think he just sent it in too deep, and as the leader with all that clean air, I don't know how you make that mistake, but it'll cost him. Back to 3rd here, and a little bit of a gap. He might be able to squeeze into that spot here. Dan will have a run. But with that spread out, the front of the pack is now getting with only about, never mind, it won't be spread out anymore. Caution is out. We have a big crash here. Jacob Jr. There's Avery again. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness, we need to hit the brakes here. Cole comes
Jack.
in.
Yeah, we did. The brakes good on Jack. I mean,
Big
to be fair,
crash.
but yeah, but to be fair for Jack, good on him. He hit the brakes, but there was just nowhere for him to go.
Well, we had a big crash that took out Typical and others. As everyone here is trying to get back in line here. A lot of stacking up here. This was a big crash. We didn't catch it, but Junior has a lot of damage, and Avery just came off of pit road too. There's Dexterity. We haven't seen him at all today. He's involved. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened. This was a big wreck.
See here in the turn 3, Cam goes up, Typical goes down, and they collide. Typical hard into the wall, slides down the track. Probably could have been okay. Chase with a superhuman avoidance there, but then Jacob, Avery, Meme, Pilot, I think Junior, someone else gets into it. Then the guys go back, Sean gets into it. Jack tries to slow down to avoid it, but hits the 83, nowhere to go for him. And that will take out several cars, including some we saw start up front.
Yeah, Typical. Remember, DNF Daytona. This will be another DNF. Typical's going to be at a big points gap here early on in the season. A little bit further back here, drivers begin to check up. And then right here, being plowed into Typical. There's Junior coming in. And then there's Jack right there. Big impacts there. That's definitely going to take out the majority of drivers involved. On board with Chase. Watch this avoidance. Wow. He turned right literally at the last second and snuck by. That's how you do it right there. And don't forget, the rookie had an insane wreck avoidance in the duel as well. Either way, we have already lost a lot of cars, not even before halfway. Let's get to the restart. 32 cars left in this race. We have already removed 10 cars a little bit before halfway here. But still, most of the good drivers are still up here. Typical was the only noteworthy driver taken out so far in this race. We head back to the restart zone where Mythical is now our leader. Past Bot before the caution. We're back underway here at Atlanta. Great jump.
Great start for great jump for Mythical. Dan's gonna jump to the inside of the 55.
Up to third, these bot racing cars have been insane today. And soon we're going to get to a point where we have lost so many cars that we just straight up can't continue to have those issues with drivers just... I mean, it's as simple as what I said earlier. Drivers on the bottom lane have more grip. They enter in. Typical kind of tried to get to the bottom, but Cam just assertively tried to get there. But it just wasn't going to work out, and turn 3 has been the common spot today for issues. But up at the front, it's been practically clean. All the wrecks have happened more mid-pack. As Bot back under Mythical. Seems like whoever gets the lead just can't actually keep it. There's just a lot of battling here. Way up the track is Commander. There's Chase up there as well, who had that good wreck avoidance. But at the front, I don't know who's going to win because we keep cycling drivers out to the lead, but Mythical is looking good now that he's out front, trying to actually gather the field a little bit here and give some noise to Ty, who's making his way back forward. I see Mike entering the picture. Some good drivers having some good runs here so far. Commander drifts back a little bit after running well early.
Yeah, we see a lot of guys are Matthew basically running the wall there in 3 and 4. There's Mike shooting to the inside of 15 of Cam, but doesn't have the run necessary to get there. As you see, like I said earlier, the middle line seems to be the absolute worst in 1 and 2. Even the top line's better than the middle in 1 and 2. So you see just cars get egregiously slow there. Some NASCAR ahead of FXN, ahead of a couple good guys. Ty way up the track. A lot of guys will get by him. Chasey Man very slow as well.
Yeah, FXN, he's been complaining all day about his car, saying, I just can't do anything. And he has not been in the... Oh, Anikate trying to grab that spot. Discord bot had to get way out of the gas. Remember, he was leading right before that last caution. Now he's fallen all the way back. Veteran moved the check up because I don't think Anikate was letting off the gas. That could have been disastrous. Here comes JJO. And how about Sup NASCAR? He might be in the top 20, making his way forward in that 89 car. Had a solid run at Atlanta, stayed on the lead lap, and finished in the top 25, which is a solid run for that team. And 17th right now. Could get 16th with how much these guys on the outside have struggled. Might get a spot on SM. And FXN's actually now going to go around hard into the wall and back up onto the racetrack, but out of the racing line. And a good day to start went bad in a hurry and has now gone to worse. And that probably won't end his day.
The Sim, one of the Sim's most consistent drivers that broke onto the scene last season, might see his day end here. Caution is out. Let's get you the replay. We see her coming off the exit of 2. FXN looks to make a move on Discord bot, clears himself off the 11 to chase hard into the backstretch wall. Not too hard of an impact though. He stays out of the racing line, and I think he will be able to continue. But he started from pole, has had a pretty mediocre day, but his day just got significantly worse.
Yeah. Bad day from the start. We just reported about how his car was struggling. I'm sure it's not going to be any better now. We'll be ready for the restart where we're just past halfway. Hang in there, everyone. We still got a long way to go. Back green here at Atlanta. Mythical gets the jump over Dan Wayside. Kermit drums straight away to the bottom, and Mike having a clear run here up inside the top 10. He is a cup winner at this racetrack, but you can't say that Target Racing could give him a win. Who knows? We will see. He's had a good car. Nice he's been so far, but he's going to have to beat out some really good drivers. We saw Discord bot up here earlier. I'm sure he will get back up here eventually. For Mythical, Dan, Wayside, some really fast cars. But Mike's now up into 6th with this pass on Dylan. He's been having an insane day today. Props to him. How about Ty in 11, JJO in 12th, or looking for 12. Santa up in the top 15. Some great days. Of course, we've had some accidents that have retired some folks, but these guys have been legitly in the top 20 for most of the race, so kudos to these drivers here, as we still got a little bit over 40 laps to go. A lot more can still happen before the end.
Now, I think a lot of people probably noticed today, Dan has been kind of lurking. Not really dominating like you think he would on an intermediate. Kind of just been lurking. But I'd like to say that this is how he won he's won a disgusting amount of races doing this. He lurks the top 4 most of the day, and then he will just come in out of a cannon and take away the win. We saw that quite a lot last season. Texas has been the biggest example this week. Texas too. He was pretty far back of Doug on the last lap, but Doug left the outside open thinking Dan couldn't catch him. Dan went right around him on the outside, beat him in a photo finish for the line. So if you see this 97 lurking in this 3rd, 4th, or 2nd position, you're probably in trouble, especially if it's late in the race.
Yeah, Dan has led a few, but he hasn't led many. Because at the same time, when Dan leads laps, he leads a lot of them. It's either he leads barely any and just straight up dominates at the end, the very end of the race, or he just dominates the entire time and wins. There's no in between. He's never going to dominate and lose, or not dominate and then just still finish bad. It's 95% of the time he's either going to dominate and win, or work back and then win anyways. That is just what Dan has always done, and these drivers are aware of that. But Mythical has not had as much experience racing with Dan, and I'm sure that Mythical's someone that might just straight up not let that happen. Mythical's a fast driver, and he's been leading almost this entire race. So we've seen it, but when Dan is fast, he's fast. Because one thing he does, where even if he's kind of working back, not taking the lead, he doesn't let the leaders get away from him at all. He stays right in the mix, and he might try and pass Wayside here. Yep. And Wayside, again, you almost just have to concede, because that's just going to happen to you. Here comes Kermit. How about Kermit in a 77? New look for Sprite this season. He's ran Sprite pretty much his entire career, but new look. This is the first time we've seen a Sprite design like this, and debut for this livery, and looking to give himself a win. He hasn't won in a while. Running up here in the top 5. He has a shot here today, and there's that target car again, and there's Matthew back in the top 10. It's been a while since I've seen him up here. He's really good at this racetrack. Might have not have shown it this weekend so far, but trust me, if he survives till the end, don't be surprised if he's up there. A lot of trouble for Montana. And Max just had a rough day. He has not seen like the top 20 much at all today, and after having a great run in Xfinity, just haven't been able to get it done. That got close. But Hayholt got through. JJO was just, he wasn't waiting around. He wanted to go, and he took that spot. But tough day for Mac, but again, still a long race to go. But other than Mythical, it's just been a struggle all around for Sunbell. And here we go. What's Dan going to do? He actually will take it this time. Wait until the last second. And Dan back to the lead, but how about Kermit in the 77? Season 4 and Season 5 champion and Season 3 champion going at it here at Atlanta.
Yeah, very exciting battle here. You have 3 champions battling, and Wayside, who won 3 races last year, is a round of 8 contender. And I think these 3 might be able to get a big run on Dan, but they're not. But Mythical's not going to let Kermit go for the lead. He's going to go for his own glory. He's going to go for second, and he is in there easily.
We haven't seen Kermit actually contend for the lead yet today. We've kind of seen on every single little green flag run we've had, it's kind of been 15 to 20 laps every time. It's usually the same drivers that hang in the draft. But Kermit, new story. These 4 we've seen before, but Kermit, we haven't. He's up here taking the fight, but has fallen back to 5th, and I can't say enough about these 2. Riley Davis Jr., the rookie. What a star he would be if in his 2nd career Cup star just goes out and wins. He's good at this racetrack, and we saw in Xfinity last season, but to go out and just win, no one expected that. And then there's Mike right behind him, hanging on. They're gaining on this group, believe it or not. They might get there if they keep battling.
Yeah, the battling has really helped some guys rope in. Commander caught up to this group because of the battling, and now he's up to 3rd, battling with this lead with Mythical and Dan. And they keep battling. We can see these 73 and the 52 come up here for this battle for the lead. And also, if they hang around, they could make up ground through lap traffic.
Now, we haven't been able to see lap traffic yet. We've been having a lot of incidents, but it's just what it is at Atlanta. Everyone came into this race expecting every car to have some sort of stripe from hitting the wall, some sort of contact. It's just what always happens at this racetrack, including FXN, who has made minimum speed racing around with Cole and Jack. But again, as we scan through the field and get our way back to the leaders, a lot of these cars here have been involved in a wreck somewhat. Even if they haven't taken damage, they have seen a wreck happen next to them. So a lot of these drivers have seen skid marks, have seen smoke, and while most drivers have made their way through, there are some that have gotten involved and they're no longer in this race. But these guys up here, they've just been up here the entire time. They might be one of the very few that have just no clue about any of the cautions, because they have just been putting up blistering pace all race. Fastest lap is Commander with Mythical 2nd. These are 2 drivers right up here in the battle. So again, very fast cars here, and again, they just keep taking control, and here comes Mythical. Is he going to wait around? Is he going to do what Dan does, just kind of stay behind him? Dan's going to block! Try to! He will! Dan's aggressive. When he's leading, he doesn't want to lose in. He put a big block on Mythical. Mythical's he's bump drafting him down the front straightaway. Will he make the move? No, he will hang behind Dan. Maybe force Dan into a mistake. But you can see Dan's just not letting that happen.
Man, you saw Mythical quite a couple times trying to force his way in there, and Dan just not allowing it. You are right now, you are seeing 2 just experts of the craft dueling it out here. And you can see, like, it's almost like a game of chess we're watching here with the moves these 2 are trying to put on each other.
Yeah, this is what Dan did earlier in the race. Just kind of just followed behind, but now Mythical's the one doing it. But Mythical tried multiple times. Dan just straight up blocked it. Now that time, Dan got a little bit of a gap here. Now, here's what Mythical doesn't want. That 92 to get a run on him and then pass him, because you can play chicken all you want on the leader, but it's different when 3rd place doesn't want any of it and just straight up makes a move. Now Mythical's going to set up a good run here. Dan can't block this. Now it's just all about if Dan can keep the run in 1 and 2 in that middle lane, which has not been good. Oh, he held up for a little bit, but he will concede, but he'll keep 2nd. So Dan played that perfectly. Mythical's now running that middle lane. He's going to break the draft and now enter in kind of middle. And now Dan will try and get the run back on him with Wayside staying in tow with him. And Commander still in fourth, watching them all battle.
Yeah, the 97 probably also, if anything, wanted Mythical to pass him because Wayside is also an aggressive driver. And these two, the 97, 92, bad corner for Dan, by the way.
Yeah, bad.
But,
boy.
Yeah, Wayside's across to the inside, but these two, not Commander, but 97, 92, they're about battling each other. These two have history, and history for wins, too. Wayside just straight up dumped Dan at Bristol last season for the win, a race in which Dan had dominated practically all day. Dan later got his get back at him at Needham later that season for the win. But 97 would definitely prefer the 44, a driver who he knows probably is going to be racing clean and respectfully over the 92, who will do anything for a win.
This is now definitely the longest green flag run in the race. Things have kind of split apart here. Other than Mythical, Sunbelt has struggled. SM winner at Daytona, maybe not taking things as serious as he is in the playoffs, but Mac has just struggled all day long. He has just came over to the radio and said, no matter what we do to this car, it is still loose every time we make changes. I just don't know if Mac will be able to get a decent run today. Had a great race in Xfinity, couldn't get the win. Just hanging around here, maybe hoping for some more cautions, give him some track position. And Garrett, he was in the top 10 early, but just kind of fell back after that. We thought he had a race-winning car after getting into the top 10 early, but now he has just lost all the speed he once had, and he's now fallen back to kind of the outskirts of the top 20.
3 wide here. Meanwhile, Nude's going to go to that inside.
Grab the spot from him. Internet right behind him. And Montana, nice top 20 run for him. Chasing Man's also having a good run. And while Mike has begun to fade now, a top 20 day is still great for this race team, but I think they are capable of much more. Maybe just another restart will be needed. And both the bot racing cars had speed earlier, but now in the clutches of just barely hanging on to a top 10, not even actually in the top 10. My mistake. Discord bot will take 10th now around Slash. Ty, great day in 9th. A little bit worried entering this race when he kind of fell back a bit early if he'd actually be able to stay up there, but he's proven true to his qualifying effort. Qualified 3rd, running in 9th. Great car today. Good for him. Cam has been quiet up here in the top 10. Dylan has been quiet. He's been up here, same as Riley Davis Jr. And then again, back to the usual suspects up here. Mythical still leading, but Dan's going to set him up. Dan at the bottom. He's going to take it. I thought he was going to get back in line, but he's going to go for it now. Mythical tried the block. Oh, boy. Dan had to get way out of the gas. Mythical said, you're not taking that spot. Oh, boy. Hello. Left cars. Let's do this. FXN, the damaged car. Now you got 2 back markers, Jack and Cole. This is no easy task because we've seen so many times drivers get into each other, trying to pass each other, which have caused multiple cautions. And that's the same thing with slower cars on the track. When there are slower cars, the leaders think they can carry more speed than they actually can. You can see how much slower they are, and that could cause issues. And for Mythical, it has, because Commander has just rallied and has ran him down. But now we actually have a battle for the free pass if we get another caution. And I'm sure FXN really wants that because he needs to salvage any points he can. Also, after DNFing at Daytona. So both him and Typical have had a rough start to this season.
Yeah, Commander just a bit ago in that last traffic. Absolutely sent it, maybe trying to get to that bumper of Mythical, but he got stuck behind the 72 with Jack just a little bit as a result for that. And Mythical has a little bit of a gap, but he is no longer safe. And these four got through black traffic pretty effortlessly. And we are right back to where we were.
Yeah, Kerman has actually faded a little bit, running back in 5th. He's taking his time, but still a great run for him. Last season was pretty tough for him. Top 5 day would be great, but it's looking like it's going to be one of these 4. And coming into this race, I told Mac off air, my pick was this 92 car. And I wasn't fully confident in it. But he has proven it true. He's been up here all day. But Mythical, he's really looking to lock up most laps led here. He has been in control the last 10 or so laps, and he also led a lot of laps under caution as well, which definitely helps. And Dan's sort of fading a little bit. And Wayside wants to get by him, and Wayside's not going to be nice about this. He's going to try and get by him as quickly as possible, but Dan will get a nice run off the corner here. But Commander's also someone that's desperate for a win early because he also DNF'd Daytona. He wants to get his win as quickly as possible so he has nothing to worry about the rest of the season until the playoffs.
Yeah, and it just looks like these four right now playing a little bit of a single file game. You know, it's lap 87. They still have some time. It's not really going to be where it could be decided if you win the race or not yet. But here's Commander, very big run, might get him out, might be able to set him up here off the exit of 4. Tries to, he might have it.
No.
He's gonna try to maybe dive it in a little bit, but Mythical shuts that door real quick. I think Dan's gonna get the benefit of this.
As they catch the next left car to 13. Singular left car is going to be a lot easier than 3 left cars, but they're all right up on each other. Mythical has been a master of defense and blocking these last few laps. Any run that Commander gets, Mythical just shuts it down. And longest green flag run we've had here, so it might be go time for these 4, 5 cars here. Kermit as well, because they know if this goes green to the end, it's going to be one of these guys, so they're going to go for it. Commander's going to use this 13 as a pick, I'm pretty sure. Depends if they get there in time. He won't. But we'll see. Mythical's not going to let that happen. Power move in the middle lane. And now maybe he will use the 13 as a pick. Oh, wow, what a block. Mythical hangs onto the lead, and we have 4 cars under a blanket for the lead with 13 laps to go.
Yeah, they are just all tight, bumper to bumper right now. Commander just got out. I feel like he just got schooled there by Mythical. And these are very experienced drivers. Commander and Mythical joined in the same season. They were started in season 3. But these are 4 guys, quite a lot of experience. And we might see a cinematic battle for this win.
Again, just shuts the door. There's only so much time for Mythical to do this before Kermit says, keep doing this, because Kermit's running the fastest laps out of anyone on the racetrack right now, and he is running down this top 4. And this is the longest run we've had. Tires might be wearing. Kermit might be good with this tire wear. We will see, but no matter how much the tires wear, these cars are still flying around this racetrack. Mythical has been a master at defense, using air to his advantage, just using outright skill and speed. Just unbelievable. And let's go back here for the last time here, because I've noticed that the ticker, Cam, Riley Davis Jr., and Dylan, they've broken away from this cluster, which includes Mike and Ty. So yeah, we have broken up into multiple groups of cars here. There's another group. Yeah, we just have a bunch of groups here, all scattered across the racetrack. So that's the point of the race we're in. We have noticed that drivers have been split up here. Those restarts allowed for some interesting drivers like Santa, Sup NASCAR. They were in the top 20 earlier. But now with this long green flag run, this is where car performance and skill is really going to come in. And, well, we're seeing it out of 4 cars that were out at the front all of last season.
Commander to the inside of Mythical.
Yeah, even when Sims was in this car last season in the 44, they were at the front of the line. Commander to the lead. Did he do it too early? Or does he think he can run away from the rest of the field here with 9 laps to go? Going to be 8 this time at the line. Will we also make it to the end without another caution? Because imagine a restart, stacking this thing up. Anyone could still win if that happens. Mythical has another run back on him. Mythical's not going to wait around here. Can he get under Commander here in turn 1? And now Commander's playing defense.
Yeah, you're going to see some absolutely wild blocks. That could have ended very badly if Commander was just a second too late.
Now is where Dan is in his prime. Now is where Dan's going to start trying to pick off these cars. But he's got to go right now. Mythical kind of stacked up Wayside and Dan a little bit here. Don't think isolated Mac, who's just not had a good day in Sup NASCAR, will be an issue. But you never know. If anything happens that slows those cars down, we could have left cars right at the tail end of this race. Now does Wayside think he has something for the 44? No, he doesn't, but this is where Dan should make a move, but continues to wait. I'm telling you, if Dan still ends up winning this race, then you'll know why he is the winningest driver in the NAPA Sim Series and only what is just now starting his 3rd season because of moments like this. But has he waited too long to pounce? We will see here with now almost 5 laps to go. Can Commander get the win?
Yeah, Commander has started building a gap, actually, which is something we have just not seen this entire time. That 20 and that 21 start building a gap, and Mythical is just going to erase it in 2 corners. What a run. Maybe does he have something here in the turn 1? Let's see. Definitely not. I don't think so. I don't think so. No.
Can't get there. Commander will now get a run off the corner here. Oh, man, what a race this has been after we got rid of the cautions. Something's wrong with the 97, maybe. Not sure. He fell way off the pace. Here, and he got into the wall. So Dan is faded back here. Now he might be out of it. So it might be a 2-man duel to the end here with 4 laps to go. Who will it be? Commander or Mythical? Or does Wayside still have enough to get back up there?
Yeah, Commander been sitting in the driver's seat. He's been playing some great defense here. Both of them had even corners that time around. You're going to have to look at this start and look at this corner to corner now. Mythical, great 3 and 4. I think that's going to be what the difference is here, depending what happens. I think Mythical's better in 3 and 4, but Commander is just a bit better in 1 and 2. So we will see how that dynamic plays out.
3 laps to go. Kermit has ran down Dan, and Riley Davis Jr. is battling with Dylan for 6th. But never mind that, because Mythical slowly but surely closing the gap. This is the best chance he's had, but it's not enough to make a move. These drivers know that the bottom is the best way around, so where are they going to go? Aero blocking is not as much of an issue in the Cup Series, so Mythical can run Commander's line and keep up with them, but how will he get around him? 2 more in Atlanta. Will we make it? Who's going to come home on top?
Let's see here. Mythical can't have these bad. That's another bad 1 and 2 for Mythical. And that something like that could shut the door here. But we will see what happens here. If Mythical has a fantastic 3 and 4, Commander just has a bad 3 and 4, it's not over. But look at this. Commander starting to pull.
He is. White flag is out one more time, sponsored by NAPA. And in the 1 and 2, Commander goes about a half of a second lead, which funny enough is like the biggest gap we've seen in almost this entire race. Mythical not shutting the door enough. I don't think he's going to have a shot here unless Commander blows it. In the 3 and 4 for the final time. Left cars ahead, that will not be an issue. And Commander off turn 4. Will be the second driver to make his way into the playoffs. Commander wins at Atlanta. As the rest of the field comes by to look about Riley Davis Jr. getting a top 10 and 6. And that's Mike going to come up with a 9th place finish as everyone else makes their way across the line. What a race that had a mix of chaos and a lot of excitement and good racing here. And Commander is victorious. He is the second driver locked into the playoffs with his win at Atlanta. What a great race we saw. Mythical had a lot of speed, but just not enough, and Dan fell back there in the end. What a great race we had there, and give a bow to the rookie here. Let's take a look at the rest of the finishing results. And here is the NAPA move of the race. With around 8 laps to go, Commander just straight up outduels Mythical, and look at the power in the 1 and 2. And he never looked back from there. Mythical was not able to get back around him, and that is the NAPA move of the race. Let's go over the rest of the finishing results here. We went over Commander, Mythical, Wayside, Dan, and Kermit, our top 5. Those were the 5 duking it out there at the end. How about the rookie, Riley Davis Jr.? Just can't mention it enough. Second career Cup race. First time here in a Cup car, but has a lot of speed at Atlanta. We saw it last season in the Xfinity Series. Comes out with a 6th place finish. And with an 11th place at Daytona, he could be like top 5 in points. Great run for him. Cam had a solid day. Wasn't as quick as his teammate, but 7th, no complaints. Dylan comes home 8th. Great run for this team. Mike, amazing run for this team. This Target Racing team has struggled recently. They disbanded their Xfinity Series program, and that forced Mike to go to San Angelo Motorsports to fully focus on their Cup Series program. And 2 races in, I'm seeing improvements. What a run for Mike. What an underdog story. And but had a great run early, but faded back. He's only going to come in with a 10th place finish. Discord bot 13th also faded back. Garrett had a solid day after starting last, but just couldn't hang on. Matthew, top 20. Usually good at this free trick, but just maybe missed the setup today. A lot of drivers that had their moments at the front, like Santa, Mac, Sup NASCAR even had some moments in the top 15. The restarts led to absolute chaos. And then back here in the later portions of the results here, see a few of our leapt cars. Gino Kep, FXN who had damage, top 30. Not a good start to season for him. Same as guys like Vixterity, Jacob, Typical, who've had some issues. And some guys that were involved in the wrecks like Sean and Avery, Stu. Just some drivers that had bad luck. In those first 50 laps of the race, we saw about 4 or 5 cautions. But pretty much after we got past halfway, we went almost caution-free to the end, and it led to some cinematic battles. And now we'll head to you, Mac, the other person in the booth. Well, Atlanta. Great race. Anything you have to say before we go off the air here?
The second half of this race was absolute cinema, and comes home with a pretty deserving winner, a driver that was up front all day. Maybe not the most deserving, considering how many laps Mythical led, but definitely a deserving driver.
Most definitely, and we will see these two most definitely duking out in more races this season. These are two very fast cars, and I know Mythical's going to get his first Cup win in a while very soon. But that will do it for Atlanta weekend. 3 great races that saw some pretty chaotic races, and I'll say at least 2 of them. But next week, we head to Texas, where, again, all 3 series will be running. And I'm sure a track similar to Atlanta that has a lot of tire wear, we could see more chaos. But we will find out next week. But that is Atlanta weekend. Congratulations to Commander. He is locked into the playoffs with his win in Atlanta. And we will see you guys here in the MXTV booth next weekend at Texas. Thank you guys for watching.